Hey everyone, Kane here, and in this video we're gonna talk about heroes again, and this time we're gonna be talking about Arion. So, this hero is not really that much used for DPS as it is used for debuffing slash buffing depending what you're going for. Honestly, I didn't really use him that much, at least at the moment. I didn't really test out a lot of builds. However, there is one particular build which kind of works wonders at the current moment in the game, especially from the early to mid, perhaps even scratching late game formations, and we're gonna talk about that. So, first things first, we're gonna talk about the equipment. So, as you can see, I have dragon equipment, and like always, for all mages, there is no exception. 99% damage immunity for 5 seconds when health drops below 10%. So, you kind of require it for him to put a lot of debuffs on the field or proc a lot of debuffs on the field before he dies. Now, the thing is, he doesn't really have very high range. He is gonna get focused, and eventually, if you don't burst through fast enough, he is going to die. So this set kind of helps him to survive more, to dish out more debuffs, then your team could potentially break through and maybe he may just survive. The other stuff is basically since he is a buffer slash debuffer, you want majority of his skills upgraded, so that is why you kind of want a Drake set on him. A few other mages don't really want Drake sets on them, but this one I kind of think he does. He doesn't do that much damage, so unless you're like going for some army buffing trinkets or stuff like that, I do believe a Drake set is probably one of the better ones. Now, I'm testing him out in terms of using the Spirit Scepter. I don't really have another artifact. Like, I think I have Curse Crow, but it's 1 star and it requires premium materials, which I cannot really spare. So essentially, I just put a Spirit Scepter on him and I'm currently upgrading it to 5 star. And since it works on consecutive attacks, meaning it kind of works on his like 3 hit attack or whatever, so kind of want to test it on him, see how much he performs, see how much damage he does, and then eventually swap it out and see what difference it made. So for Prism, I'm kind of also testing him out whether or not increasing attack on him will increase a few of his other abilities, which we will be talking about. So basically, there are not really that many, I suppose, damage prisms that kind of fit him at the moment. Most of these arrays are not really that good for a hero like Arion, but I'm currently, as I said, testing and I kind of require the bonus attack to the hero, which kind of makes it so the hero jumps from like 3 million to 4.6 at the moment, and this effect is not really that useful, I suppose. And I also want to use a true Ruby because it also grants all heroes 8% attack. So regardless, it kind of also is a little bit effective just to use something like this on a few other heroes. Otherwise, probably I would use something like, I don't know, True Emerald, maybe Warlike, so he would get some heals. Perhaps he doesn't get killed almost instantly, stuff like that. So, in terms of abilities, so his first ability grants a curse, or whoever he attacks with a curse lasting 10 seconds, and kind of this thing has a few debuffs that will work on the enemy, and probably this kind of is able to proc additional damage or additional procking on your own heroes damaging those units. So we're gonna touch on a few abilities first before we touch others. So as you can see, I have one exalted ability from 35, and probably this one is the most important on Arion. So every half a second, Arion target has 100% chance of spreading a blood curse to another nearby enemy. Blood Curse lasts for an extra 7 seconds, so from 10 to 17. And while Blood Curse is active, magic damage done to the inflicted unit is increased by 20%. Essentially, I do think this is one of the more important skills in terms of putting on a burst side when you have a lot of mages. Now, I've tested him out and putting him kind of in front of my mages, in front of my Avril, in front of my Valerie, and they did start to do a bit more damage and a bit faster breakthrough. So whenever I get an Hour Blast pair with this one, this should be pretty friggin' nasty. So yeah, the other thing is corruption. So every blood cursed unit or all the blood cursed units take over 13,000 magical damage every 3 seconds, and also blood cursed units have their evade chance reduced, as well as I do believe there is somewhere here, yeah. When Arion attacks blood cursed units, deals extra HP damage, chance of taking crit damage is also increased by 21% for blood cursed units. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not this only affects Arion, like this particular ability. However, or rather, this one, since it was mainly speaking about his damage and then chance of taking a crit hit, well, this one, it kind of says chance of spreading, and then while it is active, the curse itself, magic damage done to the unit is increased. So I do believe this kind of works on all of the units. This one also speaks about the curse and then weakened evade chance, while this one speaks about his own damage and then chance of taking crit damage. So I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think this only works on Arion. And then we have Blood Fury. After a few basic attacks, he does like a triple hit, increasing his crit damage and whatever. He's not really a DPS, shouldn't really be used as a DPS, or I suppose he won't really do that much damage for you to matter. So basically, you use this, spread as much blood curse as you're able, spread as much corruption as you're able, and then essentially, since you're spreading and having the corruption active, I just leveled this blood depth, which also helps him restoring a lot of HP, increases his bonus magic damage, and essentially while increasing your own attack and your own magic damage, like this particular ability should in theory increase in a decent amount of scaling. So essentially, even if he doesn't do a lot of single target damage, he starts to do some damage towards the units that would have the curse active. Basically, just a pretty huge debuffer slash buffer towards your team. Kind of helps out the mages a lot. Now, I didn't really notice this myself. I didn't actually look into his potential, but one of my buddies showed me that this particular I suppose potential activated this kind of thing, which would then in terms provide the ability to do more damage for the mages. So yeah, that is pretty much something that majority of the Lich players, majority of the mage users should in theory add on their field, and I suppose profit, since there are a lot of magic resistance reductions in the game, and eventually probably after you reduce all of those magic resistances to zero, it would start to amplify the damage by quite a bit after that. Like, I don't think that if a unit goes to 0% magic resistance, that is gonna stay at zero. I do believe that if you remove even more magic resistance, I suppose the resistance goes into a minus and starts amplifying the damage. Because sometimes with a particular formation, even tier 18 units with a proper dragon, Valerie just friggin' deletes everything. So I do believe there are some amplifications and all that stuff happening after all of the resistances are reduced. Anyways, I don't think that there is pretty much anything else to cover up about this hero. It's pretty standard. You want majority of these items if you're able to get. In terms of artifact, you want Spirit Scepter or Curse Crown. In terms of Prism, you don't really need a prism on him, but if you do or want him to do at least a little bit more damage, you can try devastating strike for increased attack and etc. Not really that useful for anything else. Probably could be better used on some other hero, but without testing I will not know, and he is like a test at the moment for me. So yeah, abilities, pretty much I did it like this. Perhaps if I test enough and he's not doing free call with the blood depth, perhaps I will de-level a couple of levels and just add it to bloodthirst instead to make it level 10 and him do like 6% HP damage. Then probably this could be better, probably not, who knows, we will see. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. Hopefully the video was useful to you, and if it was, do hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe out there.